is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
In the headlines, following the violent attack of PNP SAF on the religious compounds of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ on June 10th, more and more residents from Barangay Tamayong, Davao City are emerging to speak about the severe fear and trauma they felt at the hands of the armed authorities. Just recently, a resident disclosed that he was detained and held at gunpoint by the PNP SAF on June 10th. This extreme act of police abuse not only terrified him, but also traumatized his family who witnessed the excessive display of force. KOJC missionaries decry the illegal search conducted by the Philippine National Police at Prayer Mountain as a serious affront of great disrespect. For millions of Kingdom citizens, the Prayer Mountain is sacred and significant. Hence, their condemnation of the violent actions taken by armed authorities. And Thailand plans to spend billions of dollars in a bid to boost its EV industry. I'm Angel Pastor. Newsline World starts now. The illegal search conducted by the Philippine National Police at Prayer Mountain in Tamayong, Davao City is a great affront to KOJC missionary workers, and that the PNP has lost integrity because of their actions. Let's hear more from Jason Rubrico.
Prayer Mountain, one of the most important and sacred places for millions of workers of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ. Prayer Mountain, located in Tamayong, Davao City, is the place where Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy was physically born. It is also the place where Pastor Apollo underwent 5 years of spiritual training before he was declared the appointed Son of God.
The Prayer Mountain. This is a very valuable place for every Kingdom of Jesus Christ, full-time miracle workers, and all of the Kingdom members of the KOJC, because this is the place where the Father has moved from the life of our beloved pastor, from one single man, to restoring lives of many.
Meaningful nga dapit para sa amoa because this is where unseen sacrifices were made by our beloved pastor. Wala pa nailahan si pastor. Nobody knew him. He was alone in this place. But he has proven himself countless times, his faithfulness to the Father. And out from that faithfulness, we are here, Kingdom citizens.
Tamayong was declared by the Father as the seat of the Father's spiritual governance. Kaya hindi basta-basta itong lugar na ito. Meron siyang spiritual significance, and at the same time, a place, yung ganda ng lugar na ito, a place of refuge. It is our Goshen.
Prayer Mountain is a sacred place where every Kingdom citizen offers their prayers to God. It is also home to the ACQ College of Ministries, where hundreds of students study.
Dito nilagay ni Pastor ang Bible School, ang ACQ College of Ministries, kasi gusto niya yung lahat ng mga students away sila sa pollution, away sila sa disturbance sa city, and makafocus sila sa Word of God.
The KOJC missionaries lived peacefully at Prayer Mountain until the heinous operation by armed police on June 10th. Prayer Mountain is one of the 4 religious compounds of KOJC that were violently and illegally attacked by the PNP SAF, which according to DILG Secretary Benhur Abalos was carefully planned and prepared for by the violent operatives.
Makikita namin nagasimbol na sila dyan. Buses are coming in, but it is only around 3:30 na lumalapit na sila talaga. With troops na SAF, fully loaded, fully armed, heavily armed.
We are having our prayers, tapos biglang nagkaroon ng siren because nag-alert na kami kasi nagkaroon na ng feedback na nagkaroon na ng enkwentro dito sa sa Central. Nakita ko sa CCTV, pababa yung mga militar. Sabi namin, bakit ang dami? Tapos heavily armored sila. Full battle, may shield pa, tapos yung may pangsira pa talaga ng gate. Nagkaroon ako ng fear kasi paano pag bigla na lang mag-twist sila ng story ba, tapos bigla na lang kami pagbabarilin, and then ito-twist nila yung truth na naglaban kami.
The KOJC missionaries at Prayer Mountain heard about the forcible and violent attack of the PNP SAF on the central headquarters and Glory Mountain. To protect the children and elderly residing within Prayer Mountain from the severe trauma that could be caused by the illegal operations of the PNP, the legal counsel of KOJC allowed the police to enter.
We do not want that to happen here, na mag-isyang place of violence, magka-trauma pa yung mga tao. So, napilitan na lang tayo, napapasukin sila. And then, we tried to put some order sa pagpasok nila. So, to avoid that, to avoid any damages, to avoid trauma, more trauma for our KOJC missionaries, sa ating mga bata na nandito. So, pinayagan na lang natin, napilitan na lang tayong payagan sila na pumasok.
Despite KOJC's request that only personnel from the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group enter the buildings and other infrastructure, they still forcibly included PNP SAF personnel fully geared in battle attire inside.
Ang sabi ng CIDG is para daw sa security nila. Kumbaga, why did they put that into their mind na ano ba kami, mga terorista? Meron ba silang nakitang mga armas sa amin? Ang dala-dala lang ng mga KOJC missionaries are cellphone.
The missionary workers also questioned why the CIDG conducted an operation that seemed contrary to expected operational procedures if a warrant of arrest was indeed served. Instead of going to the specific area believed to house their target, why did they conduct what they perceived as an unreasonable or illegal search? They left no stone unturned, inspecting every corner, every room, and every door in the buildings at Prayer Mountain. Even the rooms of resting and recovering senior citizens were not spared. It also puzzled the KOJC missionaries why they searched cabinets, refrigerators, freezers, and even restrooms in a building that was under construction while looking for someone.
What are they looking for? They only presented us with a warrant of arrest. Tapos, ganito yung gagawin nila. What are they looking for? Did they have any reasonable belief na nandito yung iaaresto nila? Na every cabinet, kahit na yung cabinet na hindi magkakasyang isang tao, inopen talaga nila.
It is clear that the actions of the CIDG and PNP SAF constitute a violation of the rights of the KOJC missionaries as Filipinos, as stated in Section 2 of Article 3 of the Bill of Rights.
Was the search reasonable, di ba? Di ba ayon sa batas na no one should be subjected to unreasonable searches and seizures, di ba? Isa yan sa mga rights natin under the 1987 Constitution. So, yung ginawa nila, they were searching the area without a search warrant. Kung titingnan mo, grabe yung violation with the right to privacy of the KOJC missionaries. Kasi pati yung mga kwarto nila pinasok, yung ilalim ng bed, tiningnan.
Because of the PNP's operation at Prayer Mountain, it caused severe fear and trauma among the children Pastor Apollo cares for.
Bigla silang dumating sa gate recognition.
Tapos, ang sino nabati ako?
Na kuratan, na shock. Nahadlo ko, balik sila po.
We were praying po that na walang harm na dito sa KOJC compound. Maybe it will cause a major trauma.
Ryan and Rap, not their real names, are just 2 of 10 children who missed their graduation because of what happened. Some senior high school students also couldn't hide their fear and disappointment towards the police who were supposed to protect them.
Nawala akong respeto sa ilang. Ay nakatrauma po na. Kanya, dili po just lang gibuhat. Kanang ginaeskulahan na mo ang kanang humanits, ginaeskulahan na mo kung unsa ang gobyerno, pero murag nawala naman karon murag biskang ikaw ya ba dili ka gitudloan na dili mo respeto sa ramron mo magmawala si imuha murag kaya syempre ya ang respeto dili man guna siya as in ginapangayo mo ginapakita man gyud na kung ikaw ka respeto jud ka di gyud basta ang trauma ya ang kahadlok bisan dili ka mo tuyo na mangurog ka matingala ka kay mangurog ka.
If not because of their injustices, they won't be living this life na ganing with no peace. Mental and psychological and emotional abuse nga ilang gibuhat. Lalo na sa mga bata. Sa mga elders, this place has been a heaven for them. For the scholars, for the young people who are here, this is a place of refuge and peace for them where they are safe.
After the incident on June 10th, the youth in the said KOJC religious compound underwent stress and psychological debriefing. For the KOJC missionaries, June 10, 2024 is a day they will never forget because it's the day authorities desecrated their sacred places. June 10, 2024 is now etched in history as Day of Infamy, and the prayer of every KOJC missionary is just one: to achieve justice.
And the question is, who commanded all these military men to come? Do we deserve? We don't deserve any of this treatment. And to be treated this way, for us is not just an injustice. If there be a word more than injustice, mauna ang term.
Para sa ating mga kapulisan, naaawa po ako sa inyo. Naaawa ako in the sense na bakit parang nawalan naman kayo ng integrity, knowing na kayo po, mga law enforcers kayo, at ang main purpose, bakit po kayo nandyan, is to protect the rights of the people.
Ako ang nag-question karon, what is the reason behind? Nanong ingon anaon ba nila si pastor? Ingon anaon nila ang kingdom. Murag ang imong mabati na lang karon nga, amahan, kanusa pa maabutan justice? Kay mao na gyud na ginapangayo sa tanan, matagas, maski bata, maski tigulang.
For God and my beloved Philippines, I am Jason Rubrico, SMNI News.
Filipinos in Hong Kong once again unite in a call against the war versus China over the disputed waters of the West Philippine Sea. MJ Mondihar reports.
Hundreds of Filipino workers gathered at Chim Cha Chuy Center on Sunday for the Maisug Peace Rally in Hong Kong. This marks the third gathering of overseas Filipino workers in Hong Kong to call for transparency, accountability, peace and security from the Philippine government. Despite being far from home, Filipino workers in Hong Kong are uneasy about the conflict between China and the Philippines over the West Philippine Sea. Many Filipinos in the area fear that their Chinese employers might retaliate against them. This is amid the rising China hate in the Philippines due to the WPS issue. These sentiments were shared by Filipino speakers who attended the gathering. According to former Executive Secretary Vic Rodriguez, it is important for Filipinos in Hong Kong to voice their concerns in the West Philippine Sea issue.
Kapag sumabog ang isang digmaan sa pagitan ng China at Pilipinas, ang unang tatamaan at maapektuhan ay yung mga kababayan natin dito sa Hong Kong.
There are more than 200,000 Filipino workers currently in Hong Kong. Most of them are household workers and their employers are Chinese. This is why former Palace spokesman Attorney Harry Roque decided to attend the Maisug Hong Kong rally to show support for the OFWs.
Dahil ang OFW ang talagang bumubuhay sa ating bayan ngayon at kinakailangan madinig ang kanilang boses. Dahil kung wala ang luha at pawis ang OFW, lubog na ang ekonomiya sa administrasyon ni Diktador Marcos Jr.
The activity also addressed other national problems such as high prices of goods, lack of jobs, government corruption, and the resurgence of the illegal drug problem.
Tunay tunay na estado ng Pilipinas, nire-reflect ng mga ganitong pagtitipon. So yung mga hinanaing na naririnig niya dito, ibig sabihin, ang tingin ng mga tao, mahalaga na siya at laganap na, kaya kailangan na magsalita.
So itong mga ganitong pagdidiwang ay binubuhay natin muli yung ating pakialam sa ating bansa at ang ating pagmamahal para sa kinabukasan ng ating bayan.
Former Congressman and anti-election fraud advocate Attorney Glenn Chong was also present at the event. In the end, Filipinos in Hong Kong hope for a change in the Philippine government's foreign policy and to steer the country away from the threat of any war.
At isa sa mga pinaka-importante, I think, is yung usapin ng gera, na sana hindi mauwi ang Pilipinas sa gera at magkaroon tayo ng foreign policy na independent at hindi beholden sa United States.
For God of Philippines, MJ Mondihar, SMNI News.
Up next, Iran has chosen a reformist lawmaker as its new president in the 2024 snap presidential elections. And is the Putin-Kim defense pact a threat to the West? NATO is set to hold its summit in Washington, D.C., and among the top topics the alliance will discuss is the deepening military cooperation between North Korea and Russia. More news when Newsline World returns. Reformist candidate who has pledged to establish better ties with Western powers won the snap presidential elections in Iran. Melchizedek reports.
Assalamualaikum. Maisug Pezeshkian, a pro-reform candidate expected to get the least votes in the recent snap elections, was declared the 9th president of Iran.
Pezeshkian beat his hardline conservative rival during the runoff elections with about 30 million votes cast. The 69-year-old lawmaker, former heart surgeon, and health minister secured 53.6% of the vote. Hardliner conservative rival Saeed Jalili, on the other hand, garnered 44.3%. He had a friendly meeting with Pezeshkian and publicly accepted his defeat. A second round of voting was held on Friday, the 5th of July, after none of the four remaining candidates secured more than 50% of the vote to secure a majority. The president-elect will take an oath in the parliament in early August before officially taking office. Pezeshkian, a reformist lawmaker, campaigned for constructive talks with Western powers to revive the abandoned nuclear deal signed in 2015 to lift the sanctions that he says has crippled the Iranian economy. However, he hasn't presented any clear plan on how to achieve this. Such a decision requires the approval of the Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, the most powerful political authority in Iran, who for years have intense standoff with the United States and its Western allies. Saudi Arabia, Russia, and China congratulated Pezeshkian and expressed hopes for further reinforcement of ties. The elections happened a year earlier following the unexpected death of former President Ibrahim Raisi in a tragic helicopter crash on May 19th.
The international community watches as to whether the unexpected victory of the reformist candidate could lead to changes in Iran's foreign policy towards Russia and soften its stance towards Western powers. Reporting from Kuwait, I am Melchizedek Cadiz, your global citizen correspondent for God and for our beloved country, the Philippines.
The deepening military cooperation between North Korea and Russia will be one of the main topics to be discussed during the upcoming NATO summit in Washington, D.C., United States. Shiloh Lee with the report.
Russian President Vladimir Putin's visit to Pyongyang in May escalated tensions between the two Koreas and alarmed South Korea and its Western allies. The military deal signed between Putin and his North Korean counterpart Kim Jong-un sparked condemnation from South Korea, while its allies Japan and the United States also voiced their concern. A war of words between Moscow and Seoul ensued, in which South Korea said it might consider sending arms to Ukraine, while Putin said his country might supply weapons to North Korea. The deepening military ties between Russia and North Korea will be one of the highlights of the upcoming NATO summit in Washington, D.C., scheduled from the 9th through the 11th of July. The heads of state, heads of government of the 32 members of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization will attend the summit together with the European Union and their partner countries. Meanwhile, South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol warned against deepening military cooperation between Russia and North Korea. President Yoon also urged Moscow to choose wisely when it comes to forging ties between the two Koreas. The South Korean leader will participate in the NATO summit in Washington, where he is expected to talk about the heightened threats posed by Russia and North Korea military ties. Reporting from South Korea, this is Shiloh Lee, your global citizen correspondent for God and our beloved country, the Philippines.
Meanwhile, Thailand is willing to spend billions of dollars to transform the country into a well-known hub for manufacturing electric vehicles in Southeast Asia. Sopmong Kopisamay Guzon reports.
Electric vehicles are seen as a key towards sustainable transportation as governments worldwide feel to increasing pressure to reduce greenhouse gases and immediately address climate change. Thailand plans to spend an additional 7 billion baht to promote electric vehicles in the country as part of its so-called EV 3.5 campaign. The money will be used to offer subsidies on 40,000 EVs. The amount will double once the measure will be approved. Automakers have invested as much as 40 billion baht in setting up production bases in Thailand and are expected to produce up to 90,000 vehicles locally this year. Thailand has set up a special operations center to break into the top tier of electric vehicle makers as part of a goal to lure 1 trillion baht, $28 billion of investments in the next 4 years. Thailand's goal is that 50% of all vehicles sold and manufactured in the country are to be electric in 2030 and a full 100% by 2035. Reporting from Thailand, I'm Shatmongkol Pisamay Goson, your global citizens correspondent for SM9 News Channel.
And before we end, may you be inspired with the words of the Son. We cannot repay the Creator. All He needs from us is our gratefulness. And that's all for this edition. For more news update, you may visit SM9newschannel.com or follow us on our official social media accounts on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, I'm Angel Pastor, and this is Newsline World.